Hi. Hi, friends at Rookie. I'm Regina Spektor. I am answering Ask a Grown today. I um I will try to do my best. This is hard. First question. Dear Rookie, I've been really stressed and overwhelmed recently, but seeking help from my parents isn't really working. My parents grew up much less privileged than me outside of the US and had to deal with some really, really difficult things as kids. To them, academic pressure, friendship issues, low self esteem, and whatever else I'm struggling with don't seem like big problems. They typically just tell me to work harder and stop complaining. Am I really just complaining? I really want to be able to talk to my parents. How do I help my parents understand what I'm going through so they can better help me? This is written by Michelle, 16, Chicago. Thanks so much for writing, Michelle. Wow, first of all, I want to say that I remember very well that complicated feeling at that age. And I truly believe that people do forget with time what it feels like to be 16, and that those things that aren't so big or sort of traumatic on paper, like all the issues that you mentioned, they're giant and they feel very big. And feelings are not quantifiable, and we shouldn't judge them because they're valid, and everybody is born into their circumstances, and there are good things that come with that, and there are bad things that come with that. But the pain that a person feels inside is not quantifiable. So you can feel as much hardship as your parents did over something that's, a bigger issue, just because you have a soul and you feel what you feel. I think that the thing that parents, especially immigrant parents, want for their children is to have a better life than they did. So a lot of the time they kind of get lost in the logistics of things. They want you to, be fed, sleep enough, wear a good coat when it's cold out. They kind of just go for the minutia of day-to-day life, and they don't really talk about the bigger things and the what they consider maybe like, oh, this is a passing phase, or this is, she thinks that this is a bigger thing than it is. And at the same time, all the experiences they went through have made them really wise. So I think if you come to them and you say, I love that you are my parents and I will always be your kid, but I also want to be your friend. And I happen to be living in this time in my life. I'm living under the same roof, and we are all here together, and I want to benefit from your wisdom. Can we talk about these kind of higher things, like philosophical things, how I feel? I want to benefit from your wisdom. I think that if you come at it from that angle and just say to them, I want to benefit from your wisdom now, they will be very glad to be useful. Because at that age, I think parents and kids have this giant chasm between them, and they don't really know how to communicate. And parents will feel a great relief to be useful in some way and to be able to help. And if they do say something like, oh, just work harder, you could say, I am, and I want to do all those things, but this is big to me, and I want your support and your advice. I think they will want to help you. Good luck. As I grow older, people are always asking me what I want to be when I grow up, as if I am expected to know. As a teen, I feel like I have to answer that question with confidence and certainty. At the age of 16, how am I meant to answer that question convincingly and without people thinking that I have no direction in life. I have given it lots of thought because I can feel the pressure to have my whole life planned out. Every time someone asks, what do you want to be when you grow up? I become stressed out because I simply don't know what to say. I feel like I'm going to be judged if I haven't figured out what I want to do. Please help me, Molly. Well, Molly, I really remember very vividly my experience with this same question. I actually had a very, very hard time at around your age because I had been playing piano since I was 6, and I had I loved music with my whole heart, and I sort of thought that the only way you can be a musician is to become a classical pianist. That sort of somehow was made clear to me maybe by other people. But by the time I was 15, 16, maybe even 14, I was really in turmoil because I had realized that I wasn't ever going to become a classical pianist. And at the same time, I had never thought of anything other to do with my life. And everybody was constantly asking me, so what are you going to be? What are you going to study? What are you going to do? And I felt such pain and sadness every time someone asked because I was really lost. So, my parents would joke, and my dad would say, you should become a lawyer. You're really good at arguing, or, people would say, you should become, a psychologist. You really love to listen to my problems and give me advice. And I would try and sort of measure all these different things onto myself and imagine it. And none of it fit. I tried to imagine myself as a teacher. I tried to imagine myself, I don't know, a lot of different things. And then, to my luck, I guess, sort of the idea of writing songs got introduced into my life, and I never thought of anything else again. And I do feel like it's very strange that people want teenagers to know what they're going to do with their life. I mean, life it's such a giant, vast pursuit, and I think that people spend so much time going towards goals that they think they have to set for themselves, oftentimes not setting them too early, setting them based on other people's expectations, not really having discovered who they are or what is really right for them. I think that it's great that you don't know the answer, and I think that all you have to really say is, oh, I can't wait to discover that. I can't wait to discover what I'm going to do, but I am going to be finding something that is right for me, all you have to do is find something that makes you feel excited, that makes you feel useful. I think there are too many people not using their special skills and talents and sort of their unique qualities in their work. And it makes for a lot of very miserable people who hate to work. And you don't want to be a part of that. That's just, I mean, it happens to a lot of people and it's unfortunate, but you are at an age where you can fight against that with everything you have. You just stay your course, and just discover, and there is no way that most people know what they want to do. And there are a lot of things that are a part of my life, that are a part of my work, that I didn't know anything about, making videos, or, making art designs for covers or posters, or all kinds of things that fall under the umbrella of what I ended up doing, that I couldn't say that I would want to, be in a short film or write stories, or all kinds of things that I end up doing. And I think that there's an excitement to not knowing. So enjoy that. Enjoy the openness of it all. And I think sometimes people want you to say something just because they feel closed in, and they feel like they're sort of chained to what they're doing, and they kind of want everybody else to get chained too really quick. And you can just stay free. Okay. I'm a senior, and I found myself with a serious crush on a freshman. We met through extracurriculars and became fairly close friends. Recently, when I jokingly confessed that I'd be into him if we were closer in age, he admitted he had a thing for me. I realized I hadn't been really joking, and now we're talking, but not really talking, and I'm so stressed. This is not a situation I ever imagined myself dealing with, because I've always been adamant about avoiding too large an age gap when dating in high school. I think age becomes less important the older you get. But while in high school, I don't think it's smart for a freshman to date a senior. I graduate in a month, and in 3 months I'll be moving 3 hours away for college. That's a lot of threes. And I really like this guy, but I really don't know if it's something I should pursue. Anonymous. Well, Anonymous, it's hard to know how to advise somebody about love, because in some ways I feel like there aren't really any rules. People who sort of start imposing rules, I think it's like trying to contain something absolutely free and chaotic with some kind of a, pre-existing notions about what it should be. I think that when you survey people who have beautiful relationships and are happy, you find every kind of age gap and every permutation under the sun works for certain people. At the same time, there is something to, even more so than the age gap, because it sounds like you're both experiencing, really mutual feelings. So it's not so much the age gap that is the thing. There is something to distance being a thing. I think that in some ways, long distance is harder than age gaps, because when you have a distance and you start sort of living in some ways separate lives and then connecting, there's a lot more pressure on those moments of connection. And so much of life happens in little moments, brushing your teeth, what you're eating for breakfast, laughing about something that you saw together while walking on the street. All these little moments are what make up a life. And so I do think that as much as possible, people should try to be together, because then in your relationship you can become almost like these dual processors, where the world goes through you and through your partner, and there's this beautiful thing of that you're not looking at everything through yourself, that you're looking at everything through this lens of love, of the person that you love. And 3 hours is not such a giant distance, but it can prove to be a very big distance at that age. So I think that I think that you should try and do what really feels right for you. But if you do decide to pursue this, really, once you leave, make as much time together as possible to live as much of life in a shared way. Good luck.